October 2025, Las Vegas, Nevada, Clark County District Court. Two young men stood before a judge. Jesus Ayala, 20 years old now. Jammer Keys, 18 years old now. Both facing justice. Both pleading guilty. Both admitting murder. Jesus Ayala entered his plea first. Second-degree murder. Battery with deadly weapon. Robbery. He admitted it. Admitted he intentionally killed Andreas Probst. Admitted he ran him down. Admitted everything. His sentence? 20 years to life in prison. Eligible for parole after 20 years. Because he was juvenile when he committed the crime. Because Nevada law protects juveniles. Even murderers. Days later, Jammer Keys entered his plea. Second-degree murder. Battery with deadly weapon. Same charges. Same admission. Same guilt. His sentence? 18 years to life in prison. Also eligible for parole after 20 years. December 16th, 2025. That's the sentencing date. Coming next month. When both will officially receive their prison terms. When Crystal Probst will face her husband's killers. When justice will finally be delivered. Crystal Probst was in the courtroom when Ayala pleaded guilty. Sitting there. Watching. Silent. Her husband dead. Her life destroyed. These boys getting decades in prison. But eventually eligible for freedom. While Andy stays dead forever. Before we continue, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because this update is recent. The sentencing is coming next month. And you need to understand how we got here. Need to know who Andreas Probst was. Need to know what these teenagers did. The road to these guilty pleas was long. October 2024, Ayala was ruled incompetent to stand trial. Brain damage. Sent to psychiatric facility. Trial postponed. February 2025, ruled competent. Trial rescheduled. July 2025, new charges filed. Ayala attacked inmate in jail. Racially motivated. Attempted murder. All dismissed as part of plea deal. October 2025. Both accepted plea deals. Both avoided trial. Both admitted guilt. Now sentencing waits. December 2025. Next month. When families speak. When justice delivers. But let's go back. Back to August 14th, 2023. Back to when Andreas Andy Probst was alive. Was cycling. Was enjoying retirement. Before two teenagers decided to kill him. August 14th, 2023. Las Vegas, Nevada. Beautiful morning. Hot already. Desert heat. But perfect for cycling. Andreas Probst thought so. Andy Probst, 64 years old. Recently retired. Former police chief. Bell, California. 35 years in law enforcement. Dedicated public servant. Respected leader. Beloved husband. Devoted father. He loved cycling. Did it regularly. Every morning when possible. Stayed fit. Stayed healthy. Stayed active. Retirement suited him. More time for cycling. More time for family. More time for life. That morning he left home early. Kissed his wife Crystal goodbye. Told her he'd be back soon. Normal routine. Normal day. Normal goodbye. Last goodbye. He headed to Northwest Las Vegas. Near Centennial Parkway and Tenaya Way. Quiet area. Good roads. Light traffic. Perfect for cycling. Safe. Or supposed to be safe. 7:14 a.m. Andy was cycling. White bike. Bright helmet. Reflective gear. Visible. Safe. Following rules. Staying in bike lane. Doing everything right. Car approached from behind. Stolen car. Hyundai Elantra. White sedan. Driven by teenager. Jesus Ayala. 17 years old. Passenger was Jammer Keys. 16 years old. Both on crime spree. Both stealing cars. Both about to commit murder. Keys was filming. On his phone. Recording everything. Laughing. Excited. They'd been joking about hitting cyclists. About causing crashes. This was their game. Their fun. The video captured everything. Would later go viral. Would later prove murder. Ready? one voice said, laughing, planning. Yeah, hit his ass. Keys responded, encouraging, directing, filming. The car accelerated, swerved right, into bike lane, directly at Andy, intentionally, deliberately, murderously. Impact. The car hit Andy from behind, 70+ miles per hour. He never saw it coming, never had chance to react, never could escape. Andy was thrown, off his bike, into air, onto pavement. The video shows it, shows the impact, shows him flying, shows him landing, shows him dying. More laughter on video, more excitement, more celebrating. They just killed someone, and they were laughing. We just hit him, he said, laughing, excited, proud. The car didn't stop, didn't slow, didn't check on victim, just kept driving, fleeing scene, leaving Andy dying on roadside. They drove away, continued crime spree, hit another cyclist later, didn't kill that one, but tried. Same pattern, same violence, same game. Andy lay on the pavement, bleeding, broken, dying, alone. Retired police chief who spent 35 years serving community, dying alone on roadside, killed by teenagers. For fun, for video, a driver found him, called 911. Paramedics arrived. Too late. Andy was dead. Brain injuries, internal injuries, massive trauma, no survival. He died that morning, August 14, 2023, killed by teenagers on crime spree, murdered for entertainment. Crystal Probst got the call, the worst call. Your husband is dead, killed, murdered, hit and run. Come identify body. Her world ended that day. 30+ years of marriage, gone. Partner, best friend, love of her life, dead. Killed by teenagers. Their children got the news. Father dead, murdered. The man who raised them, killed by kids younger than them. For no reason. Police investigated. Found the stolen Hyundai. Abandoned. But evidence remained. Fingerprints. DNA. Video. August 15, 2023. One day after murder. Jesus Ayala arrested. Found hiding. Brought in. Questioned. The body cam footage showed everything. Showed Ayala's attitude. Showed his mindset. I'll be out in 30 days, Ayala told officer. Smirking. Confident. Officer asked why. I'm a juvenile, Ayala said, laughing. I'll just get a slap on the wrist. Slap on the wrist. For murder. For killing retired police chief. For running down cyclist. For recording it. He was wrong. But not completely, because Nevada law protects juveniles. Even murderers. They couldn't get death penalty. Too young. Juveniles can't be executed. They couldn't get life without parole. Too young. Juveniles must have parole possibility. Maximum sentence? Life with parole eligibility after 20 years. That's maximum. For intentionally murdering retired police chief. 20 years minimum. Then parole possible. The video went viral. Spread everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, news outlets. People were horrified. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. The audio, the laughter, the impact, all captured, all proving murder. Jammer Keys was arrested. Same charges. He filmed it, directed it, encouraged it. Guilty. Both charged with murder. First-degree murder with deadly weapon. Attempted murder. Battery. Grand theft auto. Multiple felonies. The trial was set. Then delayed. Then postponed. Competency issues. Brain damage. Psychiatric evaluation. Legal proceedings. 2 years of waiting. Until October 2025. When both pleaded guilty. When both admitted murder. When both accepted decades in prison. Now sentencing waits. December 16, 2025. When Crystal will speak. When families will be heard. When justice will be delivered. 2 years late, but finally coming. Andreas Probst was murdered August 14, 2023, by teenagers Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys, who intentionally ran him down while cycling and filmed it laughing. A question that would define this case. A question that proved this wasn't an accident, wasn't a mistake, wasn't a tragedy, but murder. Ready? Earlier that morning, hours before Andreas Probst woke up, hours before his perfect coffee, hours before his last bike ride, two teenagers were already causing chaos, already committing crimes, already destroying lives. Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys didn't just wake up that morning and decide to kill someone. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't a moment of bad judgment. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned, calculated, part of a pattern, part of a spree, part of something darker. The night before, they'd been out, roaming the streets, looking for cars, looking for opportunities, looking for trouble. They found a Hyundai Elantra, 2016 model, silver, parked outside an apartment complex. Nobody around, nobody watching, perfect target. They didn't break a window, didn't hotwire it the old-fashioned way. They used a new method, a method spreading across social media, a method kids everywhere were learning. The TikTok method, a viral trend, a challenge, a tutorial on how to steal certain cars. Hyundai and Kia models, specific years, specific trims. They had a vulnerability, a design flaw, no engine immobilizer, no push-button start, just a key ignition, easy to bypass, easy to override, easy to steal. And TikTok showed them exactly how. Videos with millions of views, step-by-step instructions. Kia boys, they called themselves. Teenagers stealing cars, joyriding, crashing, recording it all, posting it online, getting famous, getting likes, getting followers, getting validation for chaos. Ayala and Keys followed the steps, broke into the Hyundai, accessed the ignition, started the car, just like that. No alarm, no resistance, no consequences. Within minutes, they were driving away, in a stolen car, ready to do whatever they wanted. But they didn't just want a joyride, didn't just want to drive around. They wanted more, wanted excitement, wanted adrenaline, wanted content, because that's what this was really about. Content, videos, social media, proof of what they'd done. 5:27 a.m., still dark outside, empty streets, perfect time for crime, perfect time for violence, perfect time to hurt someone and get away with it. They saw a cyclist, male, riding bike on Fort Apache Road near Washburn. Early morning ride, exercising, living life. Probably had the same routine as Andreas. Same love for cycling, same peaceful morning ride, same innocence. Keys was driving at this point, Ayala in the passenger seat. They got behind the cyclist. Close, too close. The old man noticed, checked his rearview mirror. The kind cyclists attach to their handlebars. He saw the car, saw it coming, knew something was wrong. He moved right, as far as he could go, against the curb, trying to give them space, trying to stay safe, trying to avoid what he feared was coming. But it didn't matter, because they weren't trying to pass him. They were trying to hit him. The car accelerated, swerved, struck the bicycle, ran him over. The impact sent him flying. Bike destroyed, body broken, pain everywhere. He hit the ground hard. The car kept going, didn't stop, didn't check on him, didn't care. The man lay there, injured, bleeding, trying to understand what just happened, trying to process, trying to survive. He pulled out his phone, called 911. "A car just ran me over on my bicycle," he told the dispatcher, his voice shaking, breathing heavy, then took off. The dispatcher asked questions. "Where are you? Are you hurt? Can you describe the car?" Standard questions, standard procedure, standard response to what seemed like a hit-and-run accident. But the man said something else, something that should have raised alarms, something that should have triggered an immediate manhunt, something that proved this wasn't an accident. "He ran me over on purpose," the man said. "He got behind me. I was watching in my rear view on my bicycle, and I'm going, oh shit. And I got as far to the right. up against the curb as I could. On purpose. Those were his words. On purpose. Not an accident. Not a mistake. Not a case of distracted driving. But intentional. Deliberate. Attempted murder. I was hoping that maybe the police can make a connection because he could have killed me, the man said. He knew. He understood. These teenagers tried to kill him, and they might try again, might hurt someone else, might succeed next time. Paramedics arrived, treated him on scene. He had non-life-threatening injuries, cuts, bruises, scrapes, broken bones maybe, but he survived. He got lucky. The impact wasn't quite right. The angle wasn't perfect. He lived, but Ayala and Keyes weren't done, weren't satisfied, weren't finished with their spree. They switched drivers. Ayala got behind the wheel. Keyes moved to passenger, took out his phone, started recording, because now they wanted proof, wanted evidence, wanted to show the world what they were doing. They kept driving, looking for more victims, more chaos, more violence. The stolen Hyundai Elantra became their weapon, their tool, their means of destruction. They drove onto US 95, the highway, higher speeds, more traffic, more danger. They spotted a white Toyota Corolla, just driving, just commuting, just someone trying to get somewhere. Innocent, unaware. Ayala swerved. Keyes recorded. They sideswiped the Corolla, metal on metal, scraping, crashing. The Corolla's driver struggled to maintain control, terrified, confused. What just happened? Why would someone do that? The driver wasn't seriously injured. Non-life-threatening injuries, police would later say, but trauma, fear, the psychological damage of being attacked for no reason, by strangers, for entertainment. The teens laughed, kept driving, kept recording, kept hunting. This was fun. This was exciting. This was content. Every crime, every victim, every moment of terror, all captured on video, all saved, all evidence they were too stupid to realize would destroy them. The Hyundai was damaged now, from hitting the cyclist, from sideswiping the Corolla, from driving recklessly. The car was barely holding together, running on 3 wheels at points, sparks flying, metal dragging, but still moving, still dangerous, still deadly. 6 a.m. The sun starting to rise. Andreas Probst starting his bike ride. Crystal still sleeping. Their 35th anniversary approaching. His perfect morning routine beginning. His last hour of life starting. Ayala and Keyes drove into a residential neighborhood. Centennial Hills. Northwest Las Vegas. Quiet streets. Family homes. Safe community. The kind of place where retired police chiefs live. Where people feel secure, where tragedy isn't supposed to happen. They drove north on Tenaya Way, near Centennial Parkway, looking, watching, searching, and then they saw him, Andreas Probst, red shirt, bicycle, riding in the bike lane, alone, vulnerable, perfect target. Keyes raised his phone, started recording. This would be the best one yet. The main event. The climax of their morning, the content that would make them infamous. Ayala slowed down, got directly behind Probst, close enough to see him clearly, close enough to time it perfectly, close enough to ensure the hit would be fatal. This wasn't random. This wasn't careless. This was calculated, planned, intentional murder. The video would later show everything. The car approaching, Probst cycling peacefully, completely unaware, no idea what's coming, no idea his life is about to end, no idea 2 teenagers are about to kill him for fun. Keyes kept the camera steady, didn't want to miss a second, didn't want the video to be shaky. This was his moment, his viral video, his claim to fame. The car got closer, engine revving, speed increasing, Ayala's foot on the gas, Keyes' finger on the record button. Both of them ready, both of them excited, both of them about to commit murder. And then Ayala asked, voice clear on the video, words preserved forever, evidence that would seal their fate, proof of their intent, proof of their evil. Ready. Keys responded immediately, eager, enthusiastic, encouraging, his voice captured on the audio, his words proving conspiracy, proving they both wanted this, both planned this, both were guilty. Yeah, hit his ass. As we continue, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The car accelerated. Fast, aggressive, purposeful. Ayala's foot slammed on the gas pedal. The stolen Hyundai surged forward, directly at Andreas Probst, directly at a 64-year-old man, a retired police chief, a father, a husband, a human being. Keys kept filming. Phone pointed at the road ahead, at the target, at Andreas. The video shows everything, every second, every detail, every horrifying moment. Andreas was riding in the bike lane, where he was supposed to be, following the rules, being safe, being responsible, wearing his helmet, his red shirt visible, his bicycle moving at a steady pace. Just a morning ride, just exercise, just living his life. He didn't hear them coming, didn't see the car, didn't know two teenagers were behind him, hunting him, targeting him, about to kill him. He had no warning, no chance, no way to escape. The car closed the distance. 50 feet, 40 feet, 30 feet, getting closer, getting faster. Ayala lined it up, and, like playing a video game, like hitting a target, like this was entertainment. Keys kept recording, kept the camera steady, capturing it all. The approach, the anticipation, the moment before impact. He was laughing. You can hear it on the video. Laughing, excited, thrilled, about to watch someone die. 20 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, and then impact. The car smashed into the back of Andreas Probst's bicycle. Full speed, full force, full intention. The sound was horrific. Metal on metal, metal on flesh. The crushing, the breaking, the destroying. Andreas's body was thrown forward. Violently, his bike crumpled, twisted, destroyed instantly. He flew through the air, slammed into the car's windshield. His body, his face, his head, everything hitting glass, shattering it, cracking it, breaking through it. Then he was airborne again, thrown off the car, over the hood, into the air, tumbling, spinning, no control, no protection, just a human body being destroyed by physics, by violence, by murder. He landed on the side of the road, hard, his body crashing into pavement, into concrete, into the ground that would become his deathbed. The impact was catastrophic. Bones breaking, organs rupturing, blood pooling, life draining. And on the video you hear them, Ayala and Keys, these two teenagers, these two murderers, these two monsters. You hear them laughing, actually laughing, as Andreas Probst lay dying, as a man who dedicated his life to helping others took his last breaths. They laughed. Keys turned the camera, away from the road, towards the back, to show Andreas, to capture his body, to document what they'd done. The video shows Andreas Probst lying on the side of the road, motionless, broken, dying. "Oh shit!" One of them says on the video, not remorse, not horror, not guilt, just excitement, just thrill, just adrenaline. Ayala didn't stop the car, didn't brake, didn't check on Andreas, didn't call for help. He accelerated, drove away, fled the scene, left Andreas bleeding, left him dying, left him alone. The stolen Hyundai sped down the road, damaged worse now, the windshield shattered, the front end crumpled, running on 3 wheels, metal scraping pavement, sparks flying, the car barely functioning, but still moving, still escaping. They drove away laughing, celebrating, high-fiving probably, reviewing the video, watching the murder they just committed, watching a man die, and enjoying it, proud of it, thinking it was content, thinking it was entertainment, thinking it was a game. Andreas Probst lay on the side of Tenaya Way, his body destroyed, his bike mangled, his helmet cracked, his red shirt torn, blood everywhere. He wasn't moving, wasn't responding, wasn't breathing well, life slipping away. His Apple Watch detected the fall. Immediately, the sensors recorded the impact, the force, the severity. This wasn't a normal fall. This wasn't a simple crash. This was trauma, catastrophic trauma. The watch activated. Automatic feature. Fall detection. It started calling for help. At 6:05 a.m., just 2 minutes after the crash, the watch called 911. The owner has taken a hard fall and is not responding to their watch, the automated message said. Then it provided the location, the exact GPS coordinates, where Andreas lay dying. The watch also sent an alert to Taylor, Andreas's daughter. Emergency notification. Her father had fallen. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Taylor looked at her phone, saw the alert. Her heart dropped. Her father, her dad. Something happened. She immediately called her mom, Crystal. They needed to get there, needed to find him, needed to help him. Meanwhile, 911 calls were coming in. Multiple calls, different witnesses, different locations, all reporting the same stolen car, the same teenagers, the same violence. 6:03 a.m. A woman called, reported a man hit by a car outside her apartment, on Tenaya Way, near Centennial Parkway. She didn't know who he was, didn't know he was a retired police chief, just knew someone was hurt, someone needed help. 6:13 a.m. Another call. A driver reported a vehicle speeding down the road, only on 3 wheels, nearly crashed in an intersection, driving erratically, dangerously. The stolen Hyundai, still fleeing, still dangerous. 6:17 a.m. Another call. Parent driving kids to school, found an abandoned vehicle, still running, engine on, doors open, empty. The stolen Hyundai. Ayala and Keys had finally abandoned it, finally stopped, finally ended their crime spree, but only because the car was too damaged to drive. Back at the crash site, first responders arrived. Paramedics, police, fire department. They found Andreas, found his broken body, found a man barely clinging to life. They worked fast, checked vitals, started treatment, called for transport. This was bad. Really bad. Life-threatening injuries, massive trauma, internal bleeding, head injuries. He needed a hospital, needed surgery, needed a miracle. Taylor and Crystal arrived at the scene, together, desperate, terrified. They saw the police cars, the ambulance, the flashing lights, the chaos, and they knew, before anyone said anything, they knew. Crystal got out of the car, started looking, started assessing. Her law enforcement background kicked in. She'd seen crime scenes before, knew what to look for, knew how to read a situation. She saw Andreas's bike, completely destroyed, mangled beyond recognition. The kind of damage that comes from massive force, from violent impact, from something terrible. She saw his helmet, 20 feet away from the bike, thrown, separated on impact. That's not good. That means the crash was severe, catastrophic. She saw his phone, another 20 feet away, also thrown, also separated. Everything scattered, everything destroyed. His bike is here, his helmet is way over there, his phone is way over there, Crystal said to officers, her voice steady but breaking, holding it together, barely. I'm like, this is not good. It wasn't good. It was the worst. Andreas was loaded into the ambulance, rushed to University Medical Center, UMC Trauma, the best trauma center in Las Vegas, where the most severe cases go, where people fight for their lives. The doctors worked, did everything possible, everything in their power, everything medical science allows. But the damage was too severe, too extensive, too catastrophic. Andreas Probst had been murdered, his body broken beyond repair, his injuries incompatible with life. Andreas Probst was pronounced dead. The time recorded, the date marked, August 14, 2023. The morning he left for a bike ride. The morning he never came home. The morning two teenagers decided to kill him for fun. Crystal and Taylor were notified, told their husband and father was gone, killed, murdered, in a hit and run, in their safe neighborhood, during his morning routine, for no reason, by strangers, by children. Taylor collapsed, devastated. Her father, her ray of sunshine, her support, her guide, her hero, gone, taken, stolen, by two teenagers who thought murder was content. Crystal held her daughter, held herself together. 35 years with Andreas. 35 years of love, of partnership, of life together. And it ended on a random Tuesday, on a bike ride, on a perfect morning, ended by evil. Police labeled it a hit and run. Initially, that's what it looked like. That's what the evidence suggested. Car hit a cyclist. Driver fled. Standard case. Tragic but standard. They arrested the driver quickly. Found the abandoned Hyundai. Traced it back. Found Ayala, 17-year-old. Arrested him August 31st. Booked him into Clark County Juvenile Hall. Charged with hit and run. Leaving the scene. Possession of stolen vehicle. But they didn't know. Not yet. Didn't know this was murder. Didn't know it was intentional. Didn't know about the video. Didn't know two teenagers filmed themselves laughing while killing Andreas Probst. Didn't know the truth. But they were about to find out. Because that video was out there. Somewhere. On someone's phone. Waiting to be discovered. Waiting to expose the truth. Waiting to prove this wasn't an accident. This was murder. August 29, 2023. 15 days after Andreas Probst was murdered. 15 days after Crystal lost her husband. 15 days after Taylor lost her father. 15 days of grief, of questions, of wondering why. The case was labeled a hit and run. Jesus Ayala was in custody, charged with vehicular crimes, with fleeing the scene, with possessing a stolen vehicle. But not murder, because police didn't know, didn't have evidence, didn't understand this was intentional. That morning, a school resource officer was at a local Las Vegas high school, doing his job, being present, building relationships with students, keeping them safe. Standard day, standard routine. A student approached him, looked nervous, looked worried, had something to say, something important, something that would change everything. The student told the officer about a video circulating at school, a video students were sharing, watching, talking about, a disturbing video, a horrifying video, a video of someone being killed. The officer asked to see it. The student pulled out their phone, opened the video, pressed play, and the officer watched something that would haunt him forever, watched proof of murder, watched two teenagers laughing while killing a man. The video was clear, crystal clear, high quality, modern smartphone camera, everything visible, everything audible, everything documented. It started with the car driving, the stolen Hyundai, Ayala behind the wheel, keys in the passenger seat, phone out, recording, filming their crime spree, filming their violence, filming their evil. The video showed them approach Andreas Probst, showed him cycling peacefully, red shirt, bike lane, following rules, doing nothing wrong, just existing, just living, just moments from death. The audio captured everything, every word, every laugh, every plan. Keys recording, Ayala driving, both of them about to commit murder. Ready? Ayala asked, his voice clear, his intent obvious, his question proving premeditation, proving this wasn't an accident, proving this was planned murder. Yeah, hit his ass. Keys responded, encouraging, conspiring, participating, his words making him equally guilty, making him a murderer too. The video showed the acceleration, the car speeding up, getting closer, targeting Andreas, hunting him, about to strike, and then impact, the horrific sound, the violent collision, Andreas's body flying, hitting the windshield, being thrown, landing on the pavement, and then laughter, actual laughter, captured on audio, preserved as evidence. Keys and Ayala laughing, as a man lay dying, as a life ended, as murder was committed. They laughed. Keys turned the camera, showed Andreas's body on the side of the road, showed what they'd done, showed their victim, showed their crime, and kept laughing, kept recording, kept treating murder like entertainment. The resource officer knew immediately, this wasn't a hit and run. This was murder, first-degree murder, premeditated, intentional, documented. He contacted Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Homicide Division, told them about the video, told them everything changed. Detectives obtained the video, watched it, analyzed it, couldn't believe what they were seeing, couldn't believe teenagers would do this, would film this, would be proud of this. Detective Lieutenant Jason Johansson spoke to media later. His words captured the horror, the disbelief, the reality of what they'd discovered. Rarely do we, as investigators, and rarely does the public have front-row seats to the act that's about to occur and the suspect's beliefs and what they're believing they're doing at the time, Johansson said. I can't think of too many cases I've ever had where you have the audio and the video of what they were thinking and doing before the murder, as they commit the murder and after the murder. It's a very emotional video, and you know what you're seeing and can't believe it when you're watching it. The video proved everything. Proved intent. Proved premeditation. Proved conspiracy. Proved murder. No jury would question it. No defense attorney could explain it away. No judge would dismiss it. This was evidence. Undeniable evidence. Evidence that would put 2 teenagers in prison for life. Police upgraded the charges immediately. Jesus Ayala, open murder. Not hit and run. Not vehicular manslaughter. Murder. Intentional. First degree. Life sentence potential. But there was a second suspect. The one filming. The one encouraging. The one laughing. Jammer Keys, 16 years old. Police identified him from the video, from his voice, from witnesses, from evidence. September 19, 2023. Police arrested Jammer Keys, brought him in, booked him, charged him, open murder, conspiracy to commit murder, battery with a deadly weapon, attempted murder for the other victims. He wasn't just filming. He was participating. He was guilty. Both teenagers were now in custody, both facing murder charges, both looking at life in prison, and they couldn't deny it, couldn't lie about it, couldn't claim it was an accident, because they filmed themselves, because they preserved the evidence, because they were stupid enough to document their own crime. The video went viral, posted to social media, shared everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit, millions of views, millions of people watching, millions of people horrified. People couldn't believe it, couldn't comprehend it, couldn't understand how teenagers could be so evil, so heartless, so depraved, killing someone for fun, for entertainment, for content. The comments flooded in. Outrage, anger, disgust, demands for justice, demands for maximum sentences, demands for these teenagers to never see freedom again. Taylor Probst saw the video, her father's final moments, captured forever, watched by millions. She had to watch her father die, had to see him targeted, had to hear the teenagers laugh, had to relive the worst moment of her life, over and over, because it was viral, because it was everywhere, because privacy didn't exist. The laughing, them saying hit his ass, all of that has haunted me ever since, Taylor told ABC News, her voice breaking, her pain visible, her trauma permanent. Crystal saw it too, watched her husband die, watched 2 teenagers murder him, watched them laugh about it, watched proof that this wasn't an accident, wasn't random, was deliberate evil. Her husband of 35 years, killed for entertainment. September 19, 2023. Press conference. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Clark County Sheriff Kevin McMahill addressed the media, addressed the community, addressed the nation watching. "This is a senseless murder," McMahill said. Firm, clear, angry. These two individuals hit Andreas Probst intentionally and then left him for dead along the side of a road. Taylor Probst spoke, standing at the podium, her mother beside her, her voice steady but broken, her words powerful, her message clear. "We are devastated by the senseless murder of Andy," Taylor said, using her father's nickname, the name everyone called him, the name that meant love, family, joy. Andy's life was robbed by two individuals who did not believe that the lives of others matter. That was it. That was the truth. These teenagers didn't believe lives mattered, didn't value human beings, didn't see Andreas as a person, as a father, as a husband, as a man who'd spent 35 years protecting people. They saw him as content, as a target, as entertainment. The Probst family made something clear. This wasn't about Andreas's career, wasn't about him being a cop, wasn't retaliation, wasn't targeted, was random, pure random violence. Andreas could have been anyone, could have been you, could have been your father, could have been any cyclist that morning. "We don't believe this was related to his law enforcement career," the family said. "This is about what social media has done to our youth." Social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, the platforms where teenagers learn to steal cars, where they share violence, where they celebrate evil, where murder becomes content, where likes and views matter more than human life. The case sparked national debate, national outrage, national fear. If two teenagers could film themselves murdering someone, if they could laugh about it, if they could treat it like entertainment, what's next? Who's safe? What has our society become? District Attorney Steve Wolfson attended the press conference, made a promise, made a commitment, made a vow to the Probst family, to the community, to everyone watching. "Justice will be served in this case," Wolfson said. "I am taking a personal interest in this case. Personal interest, because this case was different. This case was horrifying. This case showed evil, pure evil, teenage evil, the kind that makes you question everything. Question how kids could be so broken, so lost, so cruel." Andreas Probst was laid to rest. Funeral held. Family gathered. Friends mourned. A ghost bike memorial was placed at the crash site. White bicycle, flowers, photos, a tribute to a man who loved cycling, who loved life, who loved people, killed by people who loved nothing. Crystal and Taylor stood at the memorial, looked at the spot where Andreas died, where he took his last breath, where two teenagers ended his life. The 35th wedding anniversary was approaching, would never happen, would never be celebrated, would be a day of grief instead. But now there was something else, something besides grief, something powerful, evidence. The video, undeniable proof. These teenagers filmed themselves committing murder, and that video would be their downfall, would be their conviction, would be justice for Andreas Probst. As we continue, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Jesus Ayala sat in the back of a police patrol car, handcuffed, arrested, caught. August 31st, 2023, 2 weeks after killing Andreas Probst. 2 weeks after murdering a man for fun. 2 weeks after filming himself laughing while committing murder. He should have been terrified, should have been silent, should have been asking for a lawyer, should have understood the severity of what he'd done, should have shown remorse, guilt, fear, anything. But he didn't, because Jesus Ayala didn't take this seriously, didn't understand, didn't care. He was 17 years old, a juvenile, and he believed that meant he was untouchable, protected, safe from real consequences. The police body camera footage captured everything, the entire interaction, every word, every expression, every moment that would later horrify the Probst family, horrify the public, horrify anyone who watched. The officer sat in the front seat, professional, doing his job, about to transport a murder suspect, about to deal with someone who just killed a retired police chief. Ayala spoke first. Casual. Relaxed. Like this was nothing. Like he was just having a conversation. Like he wasn't arrested for murder. Are you sure you already found the person who did it? Ayala asked, playing dumb, pretending innocence, testing what the officer knew. The officer didn't hesitate, didn't play games, just stated facts. I got him in my car, the officer replied. Direct, clear, you're the one. We know. Ayala shrugged, kept up the act, kept pretending. I don't know what you're talking about, he said. The officer smiled slightly, not amused, just confident, because they had evidence. Lots of evidence. Overwhelming evidence. It's okay, the officer said. We got so much surveillance footage. Surveillance footage. Traffic cameras. Security cameras. Witnesses. And most importantly, the video Ayala and Keyes recorded themselves. The video showing everything. The planning. The laughing. The murder. All captured. All preserved. All evidence. But Ayala wasn't worried. Wasn't scared. Wasn't processing the gravity. Instead, he acted like this was an inconvenience. Like being arrested for murder was just a minor setback. A temporary problem. He asked the officer questions. About food. About comfort. About when he'd be released. Like he was checking into a hotel. Like this was customer service. Like murder was no big deal. Can you get me something to eat? Ayala asked. I'm hungry. Hungry. The man just killed someone. Murdered a father. A husband. A retired police chief. And he was hungry. Thinking about food. Worried about his stomach. Not about Andreas Probst bleeding out on the pavement. Not about Crystal losing her husband. Not about Taylor losing her father. Just his hunger. The officer didn't respond to that request. Just kept driving. Kept transporting. Kept doing his job. Ayala kept talking. Kept being casual. Kept showing exactly who he was. A teenager with no conscience. No empathy. No understanding of what he'd done. He asked how long he'd be detained. When could he go home? What happens next? Questions focused entirely on himself. His comfort. His freedom. Never once mentioning Andreas Probst. Never once showing concern for the man he killed. And then Ayala said something. Something that revealed his mindset. Something that showed why he did this. Why he wasn't scared. Why he wasn't taking this seriously. Something that made everyone who heard it furious. I'll just get a slap on the wrist, Ayala said, confident, believing it. Because I'm a juvenile. A slap on the wrist. That's what he thought. That's what he believed. That's why he murdered Andreas Probst. Because he thought there would be no real consequences. Because he was 17. Because the system he believed would protect him. Ayala understood something. Something broken about the juvenile justice system. Something that makes teenagers feel invincible, untouchable, free to commit crimes without fear. Because they're minors. Because the law treats them differently. Because judges are supposed to rehabilitate, not punish. He'd probably seen it before. New kids who committed crimes. Got arrested. Got released. Got light sentences. Got second chances. Got third chances. Got away with everything. And he thought murder would be the same. Thought killing someone was just another crime. Just another arrest. Just another slap on the wrist. The body camera footage was released months later. October 2023. During grand jury proceedings. Made public. Posted online. Watched by millions. Including the Probst family. Taylor watched it. Saw Ayala joking. Laughing. Treating her father's murder like it was nothing. Like Andreas Probst's life didn't matter. Like decades of service, years of love, a family's grief, meant nothing. She was devastated. Again. First the murder video, watching her father die, hearing the teenagers laugh. Now this, watching Ayala after the arrest. Still not caring. Still joking. Still believing he'd get away with it. Crystal watched it too. Saw the teenager who killed her husband, who stole 35 years of marriage, who destroyed their anniversary plans, who ended her life with Andreas, and he was asking for food, complaining about being detained, thinking it wasn't serious. The public watched it. Millions of people. The outrage grew. Comments flooded social media. How can he be so callous? How can he not care? How can a 17-year-old be so evil? What happened to this generation? What's wrong with our kids? But the body camera footage showed more. Showed the entire crime spree. Because Ayala and Keyes recorded everything. Every crime. Every victim. Every moment. All on video. All evidence. All presented to the grand jury. The footage showed them stealing cars. Multiple cars. Throughout the morning. Using the TikTok method. Breaking in. Starting engines. Driving away. Laughing. Celebrating. Treating theft like a game. The footage showed the first hit and run. The 72-year-old cyclist. Keyes driving. Ayala filming. Running him over. On purpose. The old man flying. Landing hard. Them driving away. Laughing. Looking for more. The footage showed them sideswiping the Toyota Corolla. Driving recklessly. Hitting other cars. Other people. Creating chaos. Creating terror. Having fun. And then the footage showed Andreas Probst. The main event. The climax. The murder. Ready. Yeah. Hit his ass. The acceleration. The impact. The body flying. The laughter. All of it. All preserved. All evidence that would convict them. The grand jury watched. Listened. Deliberated. The evidence was overwhelming. Undeniable. Clear. These teenagers committed murder. Intentionally. Gleefully. Proudly. They filmed it. They laughed about it. They showed no remorse. The grand jury indicted both teenagers. Jesus Ayala. Jammer Keyes. Multiple charges. Murder with use of a deadly weapon. Attempted murder with use of a deadly weapon. Battery with use of a deadly weapon. Conspiracy. Robbery. Grand larceny. 15 felonies total for Ayala. Multiple for Keyes. If convicted as adults, they faced life in prison. Real consequences. Real punishment. Real accountability. Not a slap on the wrist. Not a few months in juvenile detention. But decades behind bars. Life taken away. Just like they took Andreas Probst's life. But there was a problem. Complication. A legal issue that would delay justice. That would frustrate the family. That would test everyone's patience. October 2024. Over a year after the murder. Jesus Ayala had a competency hearing. To determine if he could stand trial. If he understood the charges. If he could assist in his defense. Standard procedure for serious cases. Medical evaluations were done. Psychological assessments. Brain scans. Tests. The results came back. Split opinions. Some doctors said he was competent. Others said he wasn't. The reason? Brain damage. Ayala had some level of brain damage. Documented. Real. Complication. Judge Christy Craig reviewed everything. The medical reports. The evaluations. The evidence. And she made a ruling. Jesus Ayala was incompetent to stand trial. Not able to understand the proceedings. Not able to help his lawyers. Not ready for court. Ayala was sent to Lakes Crossing Center, a maximum security psychiatric facility in Sparks, Nevada, for treatment, for evaluation, for time to become competent. The trial was postponed. Indefinitely. Justice delayed. The Probst family was devastated. Again. More waiting. More delays. More time without closure. More time knowing the teenager who murdered Andreas was getting treatment instead of punishment. More time wondering if justice would ever come. Months passed. Ayala received treatment. Was reevaluated. Was tested again. And in February 2025, new ruling. Judge Craig found him competent. Ready for trial. Ready to face the charges. Ready to answer for murdering Andreas Probst. The trial was scheduled. November 2025. Over 2 years after the murder. Over 2 years of waiting. Of grieving. Of fighting for justice. Finally, Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keyes would face a jury. Would answer for what they did. would be held accountable. October 2025. Nearly 2 years after Andreas Probst's murder. Nearly 2 years of legal proceedings. Nearly 2 years of delays. Nearly 2 years of waiting. Finally, movement. Finally, progress. Finally, justice approaching. Jesus Ayala sat in Clark County District Court. 20 years old now. 3 years older than when he murdered Andy. 3 years in jail awaiting trial. 3 years of legal battles. 3 years of fighting charges. But the fight was ending. The trial wasn't happening. The plea deal was offered. And Ayala was accepting. His attorney David Westbrook stood beside him. Public defender. Court appointed. Did his job. Negotiated deal. Got best outcome possible for client who clearly committed murder. On video. With witnesses. With confession. The charges were read. Murder with use of deadly weapon. Battery with deadly weapon. Robbery. Attempted murder on second cyclist. Multiple felonies. Multiple crimes. Multiple life sentences possible. But plea deal reduced charges. Second-degree murder instead of first-degree. Eliminated some counts. Dismissed others. In exchange for guilty plea. For admission. For accepting responsibility. Ayala stood. Judge Jacqueline Bluth asked the questions. Standard questions. Do you understand charges? Do you understand plea deal? Do you understand consequences? Yes, Ayala answered. Quietly. Simply. No emotion. No remorse visible. Just answering. Just accepting. Just pleading. How do you plead to second-degree murder with use of deadly weapon? Judge asked. Guilty, Ayala said. One word. 2 syllables. Admission of murder. Admission he intentionally killed Andreas Probst. Admission he ran him down. Admission captured on video. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. Judge continued. Battery with deadly weapon. Robbery. Ayala pleaded guilty to those 2. One by one. Admitting everything. Accepting responsibility. Facing consequences. The plea included Alford plea on 1 battery charge. Meaning he doesn't admit guilt but acknowledges prosecution has enough evidence to convict. Legal technicality. Still guilty. Still convicted. Still going to prison. Judge Bluth explained the sentence. 20 years to life in prison. Minimum 20 years before parole eligibility. Could serve life. Could die in prison. Could never be released. But eligible after 20. That's the deal. Do you understand this sentence? Judge asked. Yes, Ayala answered. Crystal Probst was there. In courtroom. Watching. Her husband's killer pleading guilty. Admitting murder. Finally. After 2 years. Finally admitting what everyone knew. What video showed. What he did. She showed no emotion. Just watched. Just listened. Just witnessed. Her husband dead. His killer pleading guilty. Justice coming. Slowly. Incompletely. But coming. Ayala's attorney spoke afterward. Outside courthouse. To media. Explained the plea. This saves taxpayers expensive trial, Westbrook said. Gives closure to victims. My client took full responsibility for his actions. Obviously very harsh sentence. But appropriate given circumstances. Harsh sentence. 20 years to life. For intentionally murdering retired police chief. For laughing while doing it. For recording it. For showing no remorse. Harsh? Maybe. Appropriate? Definitely. Enough? Never. But plea had condition. Contingency. Dependent on co-defendant. Jammer Keys had to accept his plea deal too. Both plead guilty or both go to trial. Can't have one without other. Days later, Keys appeared in court. 18 years old now. 2 years older than when he filmed Andy's murder. 2 years in jail. 2 years waiting. 2 years of legal proceedings. His plea deal was similar. Second-degree murder. Battery with deadly weapon. Reduced charges. Eliminated counts. In exchange for guilty plea. Keys stood before Judge Bluth. Same questions asked. Same process followed. Same answers given. How do you plead to second-degree murder with use of deadly weapon? Guilty, Keys said. He admitted filming the murder, admitted saying hit his ass, admitted encouraging Ayala, admitted participating, admitted everything video showed, everything everyone knew. His sentence? 18 years to life. Slightly less than Ayala because he was passenger not driver, but still eligible for parole only after 20 years. Nevada law, juvenile protection, mandatory parole eligibility after 20 years regardless of sentence length. Both guilty pleas accepted. Both sentences agreed. Both defendants heading to prison. Both avoiding trial. Both admitting murder. But one charge was dismissed. As part of Ayala's plea deal, the jail attack, the racially motivated assault, the attempted murder of black inmate, all dropped, all dismissed, all gone. Prosecutors made calculation. Better to get murder conviction than risk trial. Better to get guaranteed prison time than possible acquittal. Better to give Crystal Probst closure than fight multiple cases. Trade-off made. Deal accepted. The pleas brought reactions. Mixed reactions. Relief. Anger. Satisfaction. Frustration. Crystal felt relief. No trial. No reliving murder. No seeing video repeatedly. No testifying. No cross-examination. Just sentencing. Just victim impact statements. Just final justice. But also frustration. 20 years minimum. Then parole possible. Then freedom possible. Andy gets no parole. No freedom. No life. Just death. Forever. Prosecutors felt satisfaction. Convictions secured. Prison time guaranteed. Justice delivered within law's limits. Could have gone to trial. Could have risked acquittal. Could have gotten nothing. Instead got guilty pleas. Got admissions. Got convictions. Public felt anger. 20 years for murder? 18 years for recording it? For laughing? For celebrating death? Not enough. Never enough. But that's juvenile law. That's protection. That's system. The pleas meant sentencing coming. December 16th, 2025. Next month. When judge officially imposes terms. When families speak. When victims heard. When justice delivered. Both defendants returned to jail. Awaiting sentencing. Awaiting final hearing. Awaiting transfer to prison. To Nevada State Prison. To adult facility. To decades behind bars. Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys pleaded guilty in October 2025 to murdering Andreas Probst. They admitted running him down intentionally. They admitted filming it. They admitted laughing about it. Both await sentencing in December 2025 for 20 years to life and 18 years to life in prison. As we continue, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The guilty pleas are entered. The admissions made. Both Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys confessed to murder. Confessed to intentionally killing Andreas Probst. Confessed to filming it. Confessed to everything. Now everyone waits. Crystal Probst waits. Andy's children wait. Andy's family waits. The community waits. Justice waits. All waiting for December 16th, 2025. Sentencing day. Coming soon. Next month. Crystal is preparing. Preparing her victim impact statement. Preparing to face her husband's killers. Preparing to tell court what she lost. What they destroyed. What can never be returned. She's writing. Revising. Practicing. Finding words for unbearable pain. For permanent loss. For life without Andy. How do you summarize 30+ years of love in few minutes? How do you explain grief that never ends? How do you make court understand? She'll describe Andy, who he was. Retired police chief. 35 years serving community. Protecting people. Saving lives. Devoted husband. Loving father. Passionate cyclist. Beautiful soul. Gone. She'll describe October 2019. The call. The news. Your husband is dead. Murdered. Hit and run. The collapse. The screaming. The disbelief. The nightmare beginning. She'll describe these 2 years. Living without him. Sleeping alone. Waking alone. Eating alone. Everything alone. Holidays without him. Birthdays without him. Anniversaries without him. Every day without him. Forever, she'll look at Ayala and Keys, the boys who murdered her husband, and she'll speak directly to them, tell them what they took, what they destroyed, what they owe, debt they can never repay. Andy's children are preparing too, his son, his daughter, both writing statements, both preparing to speak, both ready to tell court about losing their father. They'll describe the phone call. Dad is dead, murdered, the shock, the denial, the grief, learning he was intentionally run down by teenagers, for video, for laughs, the anger, the rage, the injustice. They'll describe milestones without him, graduations he missed, weddings he won't attend, grandchildren he'll never meet, all stolen, all gone, all because two boys wanted to kill someone. They'll describe their mother, watching her suffer, watching her grieve, watching her live half-life, surviving but not thriving, missing her partner every single day. The prosecutor is preparing too, preparing evidence, preparing arguments, preparing to show judge why maximum sentence is necessary, why Ayala and Keys deserve decades in prison, why justice demands it. He has the video, the viral video. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. The laughter, the impact, Andy flying, Andy dying, boys celebrating, all captured, all documented, all proving murder, all showing evil. He has body cam footage. Ayala telling officer he'd get slap on the wrist because he's juvenile, smirking, confident, showing no remorse, no regret, no humanity. He has victim impact evidence, Crystal's pain, children's loss, community's outrage, all showing damage, all showing harm, all showing why maximum sentence is right. The defense attorneys are preparing arguments too, mitigation evidence, reasons for mercy, explanations for behavior, required by law, part of process, part of system. They'll present Ayala's background, troubled childhood, brain damage documented, mental health issues, drug use, all true, all relevant, all mitigation, but none excusing murder. They'll present Keys' age, 16 when crime committed, passenger not driver, follower not leader, less culpable than Ayala. All arguments for lighter sentence, already accepted, 18 years to life instead of 20. But everyone knows outcome. Plea deals already set terms. 20 years to life for Ayala, 18 years to life for Keys. Judge will impose these sentences, will make them official, will send them to prison. The question isn't sentence length. That's determined. That's agreed. The question is impact. What happens at hearing? What families say? What defendants hear? What community witnesses? Will Ayala show remorse? Will Keys apologize? Will either express regret? Unlikely. They've shown nothing so far. No emotion during arrest, during proceedings, during guilty pleas. Why would sentencing be different? But families hope. Hope for apology. Hope for remorse. Hope for acknowledgement of pain caused. Hope for something. Anything. Some sign of humanity. They'll probably be disappointed. Ayala and Keys have shown who they are. Teenagers who murdered for fun, who laughed about it, who recorded it, who showed no remorse. Sentencing won't change that, won't make them human, won't give families what they need. December 16th approaches. Courtroom will be packed. Media present. Cameras rolling. Family there. Community watching. Everyone wanting to witness justice. Wanting to see killers sentenced. Wanting closure. Crystal will speak. Children will speak. Prosecutor will argue. Defense will mitigate. Judge will impose sentences. Ayala and Keys will be led away in handcuffs, heading to Nevada State Prison, beginning decades behind bars. Justice delivered. But Andy remains dead. Nothing changes that. No sentence brings him back. No prison term restores him. No justice resurrects him. He's gone. Forever. Permanently. Completely. And Crystal faces rest of her life without him. Decades ahead. Alone. Missing him daily. Loving him still. Living with hole in her heart that never heals. with pain that never ends, with loss that never lessens. The sentencing brings some closure, some finality, some justice, not complete, never complete. How can you close wound this deep? How can you finish grief this profound? You can't. You just continue. You survive. You remember. December 16th, 2025. Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys will be sentenced to 20 years to life and 18 years to life in prison for murdering Andreas Probst. Crystal Probst will finally speak her truth. Andy's family will finally be heard. Justice will finally be delivered. October 2025. The guilty pleas entered. Jesus Ayala admitted murder. Jammer Keys admitted murder. Both accepted deals. Both avoided trial. Both admitted they intentionally killed Andreas Probst. Now everyone waits for sentencing. December 2025. Next month. When judge officially imposes prison terms. When Crystal Probst faces her husband's killers. When justice finally delivers. The plea agreements are clear. Ayala gets 20 years to life. Keys gets 18 years to life. Both eligible for parole after 20 years. That's the deal. That's the justice. That's what Nevada law allows for juvenile murderers. But is it enough? Is 20 years justice for intentional murder? For running down retired police chief? For laughing while doing it? For recording it? For showing no remorse? Andy's family says no. Absolutely not. Not enough. Not close. Not justice. They wanted more. Wanted life without parole. Wanted death penalty. Wanted real consequences. Real punishment. Real justice. But Nevada law protects juveniles. Even murderers. Even monsters. Even Ayala and Keys who killed for fun. Who recorded it. Who celebrated death. Maximum sentence for juvenile murderers? Life with parole eligibility after 20 years. That's it. That's maximum. Can't give more. Law won't allow it. So Ayala and Keys get exactly that. Maximum allowed. But still not enough. Still feels incomplete. Still leaves families unsatisfied. Crystal Probst is preparing her victim impact statement. For sentencing hearing, she'll describe Andy, the man she loved 30+ years, the retired police chief, the devoted father, the passionate cyclist, gone forever. She'll describe the pain, waking up alone, going to bed alone, living without her partner, without her best friend, without her love, every single day, for rest of her life. She'll look at Ayala and Keys, the teenagers who murdered her husband, and she'll tell them what they took, what they destroyed, what they can never return. Andy's children are preparing too. They'll speak about losing their father, missing him at weddings, at graduations, at grandchildren's births, all moments stolen by two teenagers who wanted to kill someone. For video, for laughs. The sentencing hearing will show the viral video. Again. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. The laughter. The impact. Andy flying off his bike. Landing on pavement. Dying. All documented. All proving murder. All showing evil. The judge will hear everything. Family pain. Victim impact. Evidence. Then impose sentences. 20 years to life for Ayala. 18 years to life for Keys. Maximum allowed. Justice delivered within law's limits. But here's what haunts everyone. What makes this incomplete? What feels wrong? Parole eligibility. After 20 years. In 2045, when Ayala is 40 years old, when Keys is 38, they can petition for release, can ask parole board for freedom, can possibly walk free. Will parole board grant it? Unknown. Depends on their behavior, their rehabilitation, their remorse, their change over 20 years. But neither showed remorse. Not during arrest. Not during proceedings. Not during guilty pleas. Nothing. No emotion. No regret. No humanity. Ayala told officer he'd get slap on the wrist because he was juvenile. Laughing. Confident. Arrogant. That's who he was. Will 20 years in prison change him? Change Keys? Make them feel remorse? Make them understand what they did? Make them human? Maybe. Prison changes some people, hardens others. 20 years is long time. Could rehabilitate, could destroy, unknown. But Andy doesn't get 20 years. Andy doesn't get parole eligibility. Andy doesn't get second chance. Andy is dead. Forever. Buried. Gone. That's the injustice families feel. Killers get possibilities. Get potential. Get hope for freedom. Victim gets nothing. Just death. Just grave. Just memory. The case sparked bigger conversations. About juvenile crime. About car theft. About viral violence. About TikTok culture. About justice system. About everything. Nevada considers tougher laws. Harsher penalties for violent juveniles. Better victim rights. More protection. Some bills introduced. Some debated. Change coming slowly. Too late for Andy. The Probst family is establishing foundation. In Andy's name, promoting cycling safety, honoring his memory, helping community, turning tragedy into purpose, turning grief into action. Crystal continues without him, living half-life, surviving not thriving, missing her partner every single day, carrying pain that never ends, waiting for sentencing that brings some closure. Not complete closure, never complete, but something. December 2025. Sentencing happens. Judge imposes terms. Ayala and Keys led away in handcuffs, heading to Nevada State Prison. Adult prison. Hard prison. For minimum 20 years. Maybe life. Maybe forever. Society becomes safer. 2 murderers imprisoned. 2 violent criminals removed. 2 teenagers who killed for fun locked away. That's something. That's protection. That's partial justice. But the video remains. Forever online. Forever showing murder. Forever proving what they did. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. Forever condemning them. Forever available. For parole board to review. In 2045, when they ask for freedom, the question everyone asks, will they serve full life? Or will parole board release them after 20 years? Statistics show mixed results. Some juvenile murderers get paroled, reformed, changed, released. Others never get parole, denied repeatedly, die in prison. Which category for Ayala and Keys? Unknown. 20 years will tell. Andy Probst's legacy continues. Through foundation, through family, through memory, through people who refuse to forget, who demand justice, who fight for victims, who honor his life. But Andreas Probst remains dead. Murdered August 14, 2023, by teenagers on crime spree. For video, for laughs, for nothing. He served 35 years protecting community, and died alone on roadside, killed by boys who showed no remorse, no regret, no humanity. Crystal Probst faces rest of her life without him, decades ahead, alone, missing him, loving him, remembering him, living with permanent hole in her heart, in her life, in her future. The sentencing brings some closure, some justice. Not enough, never enough. How can you replace life? How can you heal murder? How can you find peace when love was stolen? You can't. You just survive. You continue. You remember. Jesus Ayala and Jammer Keys will be sentenced in December 2025 to 20 years to life and 18 years to life in prison for murdering Andreas Probst. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to remember Andy, not his killers. Demand justice for victims. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in my next case.